Congratulations to all the people who made profit with XRP, but in today's video we are going to be careful because XRP can be dangerous if you don't know about Ripple and all the other stuff like that's going on in the background. And I found an article 2 days ago saying XRP, don't fall for the hype, be careful, here's what you need to know. So we're going to fact check this article and look at the price as well. Let's go. First of all, if we are looking at the chart, we can see that we are on the way to reaching all-time high. We did that back in 2018 in January, and I personally started crypto in like February, March 2017. I bought Ripple somewhere here in this spectrum, like not exactly when it was down below here, but somewhere later in 2017. That's when I bought Ripple the first time, and then I sold it not at the very high peak, but I think around like $2. That's something that I sold. So I made like a 8x, 9x with Ripple, and I'm very happy that I made the profits. But I was also aware of the risks and what Ripple was back in the days, because Ripple is a cryptocurrency that wasn't always like a cryptocurrency that compared to Bitcoin was, for example. And I found an article saying XRP, don't fall for the hype. Here's why you should be careful. And in this article, he's saying XRP might be making headlines with a promise to lightning fast transactions and low fees, but is it really the golden goose of crypto? Before you get swept away by the buzz, take a moment to understand the risks. Here is why caution is key. So he is listing some facts about Ripple and why we should be careful, and now let's check them. The first, he says, legal uncertainty, the Ripple effect. The ongoing SEC versus Ripple lawsuit is a ticking time bomb. The SEC alleges XRP as a security, and an unfavorable ruling could bring massive fines, delistings, and even market chaos. Until the dust settles, investing in XRP is like stepping into a storm without an umbrella. And I think that this fact is not entirely true, because yes, there's a lawsuit between the SEC and Ripple, but we also have to agree that Ripple just won like a very major key fact of this lawsuit. So here, there's another article from like 4 days ago, Ripple versus SEC update, key win for Ripple as court speeds up XRP lawsuit judgment. And I know that the SEC filed appeal for the current ruling of the court. So now they're like preparing a second round and stuff like that. But they just made a massive win for Ripple. And I think that in the long term, that Ripple will be let go from the SEC and from all the allegations. Because when Trump was elected, I think it was like the director of the SEC, he stepped down. So people said when he's stepping down, then probably the lawsuit will also drop. So yeah, this is some news that are not entirely true if you compare it here with the uncertainty, because I think right now, as of like 2nd of December 2024, we kind of have an certainty. So it's not uncertain as it was before. Also, there are some other projects like wisdom tree files for spot XRP ETF with SEC following Bitwise and 21 shares. So some other projects they are also filing for spot XRP ETF filings. And this is also a positive way for XRP. So this is like when these get like granted, then the SEC ruling is like not important anymore. So I think these two news are very important regarding the lawsuit. And if we check just XRP SEC news on Google and we check the latest articles here, we can also see that they are like more positive for XRP because they are thinking that the SEC lawsuit will end very soon, and then the XRP price will increase again. But we will talk about that in a second. So just to summarize, legal uncertainty, nope, I don't think that this is entirely true, so we don't have to think about that. The second point he says is centralization concerns who is really in control. And this is a point where I agree, because this is a point where I personally don't like Ripple that much anymore, because back in the days, 2017, Ripple was even more centralized and they could blacklist a wallet. Like if they didn't like you, they could blacklist a wallet because it was more of like a centralized, decentralized blockchain kind of that, because the validators were more centralized. Even today, the validators who run the network are more like, yeah, centralized than other distributed ledger technologies. But in general, it is more decentralized now. So he says, unlike Bitcoin or Ethereum, Ripple Lab controls a huge chunk of XRP supply, and that is true. With Bitcoin and Ethereum, the coins get mined, but with Ripple or XRP, then Ripple Labs, the software company behind XRP, they own 55% of the supply. They have locked them in an escrow, but they're releasing them over a certain time, and then they're relocking tokens again. I think they just relocked some tokens today, like 1 billion or something. So this is like not completely decentralized when it comes to the supply of XRP, because it's controlled by Ripple Lab. And then this raises red flags about price manipulation and over-reliance on Ripple's decisions. Is it truly decentralized, or is it a centralized entity with crypto branding? And I think this is a very good sentence, because this describes Ripple very, very good. Because in my opinion, if a privately run software company owns 55% of the XRP supply, if they decide who becomes a validator or who doesn't become a validator from the like trusted validators, if they can control this, then they can definitely do some price manipulation, because then they can unlock tokens, they can lock tokens, so they can manipulate it in a way, and with the supply they can manipulate how many tokens will be on exchanges and stuff like that. So they have a kind of control. I mean, they don't control like fully, but they have a control that other cryptocurrencies don't have, because they are truly decentralized. And this is why this is more like a centralized entity with a crypto branding. And I think this is entirely true. Like I do think that as well, because if we check the XRP documents from the XRP ledger here, I found, for example, restricting deposits. To comply with banking regulations, financial institutions must provide documentation about the sources of funds they receive. These regulations seek to prevent illicit activity by regulating institutions to track the source and destinations of all payments they process. And when we think about Bitcoin, in general, you can receive and send Bitcoins without anybody asking questions. Here, it's kind of a little bit different, as it seems. On the XRP ledger, payments can be sent and received without any interaction from the receiver. This is like a very good thing, but this default behavior is just a default behavior, so it can be adjusted. Can be problematic, but you can enable deposit authorization, so you only receive funds you explicitly approve. So you can decide to enable a function that will like limit the transactions that you can receive. Not that you can send, so they cannot blacklist you apparently anymore. I thought they can still blacklist you, but what I found nowadays is that they cannot blacklist you anymore because it's more decentralized. But they still have a function where you can like kind of restrict who can send you. And I think this is kind of like a little bit of centralization that I personally don't like. But this could be a function that could be added to other blockchains as well, or to other cryptocurrencies. So they're like not a real like red flag, but it's a smaller red flag. And then if we talk about the general overview, what is the relationship between Ripple and XRP? Ripple is a technology company that makes it easier to build a high-performance global payment business. XRP is a digital asset independent of this. So they say that XRP is independent of Ripple. But if Ripple owns 55% of the total supply, what they even say here, then it's not independent, because Ripple has a majority. And then there's another article from here, from like 2 months ago, 3 months ago. Ripple criticized for centralized control. XRP holder advocates for true decentralization on XRPL. So here he says some information, but he says you can't amend the XRPL. It is not decentralized. If Ripple doesn't want it or doesn't like it, then the XRPL will not get it, edit, or even acknowledge it. The Hooks amendment should have been an eye-opener to all XRP holders, yet we sit and listen to paid Ripple employees push narratives and agendas to appease the community, but in reality, you won't get anywhere. And I mean, this is true. If they control 55% of the supply, then they definitely have a meaning way of like deciding things. And this is a centralized company. This is a software company. They just say it here. Ripple is a technology company, a software company, so they're centralized. And if they own so much supply, then they definitely can influence decisions or push narratives into a certain way through their channels. So I think that Ripple with XRP is not like entirely decentralized as they try to be. So it's kind of like a little bit difficult. So let's go back to the article here. He says, scalability and competition. Is XRP built to last? XRP claims dominance in cross-border payments, but the competition is heating up. So you have Stellar Lumen, XLM, you have Swift, GPI, and CBDCs are strong contenders. Beyond Ripple's partnerships, adoption remains weak, and staying relevant in a rapidly evolving market is far from guaranteed, and that is true as well. I remember news back from like 2017, 2018, where refugee camp from the UN started running on a blockchain. So this is like a refugee camp in the UN, and they have like a technology which is like eye scanning. So these refugees, they have like a virtual account with their UN, and every month they get a payment on this account, and then they have this big supermarket here in the refugee camp, and then when they want to pay, they have to scan their eyes. So this is like regular technology. In the past, they would give out cards, but then there was like prostitutions, they were robbings and stuff like that, and that's why they switched to like these eye scans. And what's interesting is they started using blockchain technology in behind, because if you have all these different transactions like happening, then the most efficient way is to use a blockchain server, like one node in the background for this like limited UN refugee camp can run the whole camp with all the transactions happening and validating the transactions, or you can have 2-3 accounts and nodes having to validate the transactions for the UN. So this is like a huge thing for them, that they could save a lot of money when they switch to blockchain. And the same thing happens when companies partner up with Ripple. Because if we check out Ripple, it says the blockchain built for business. So they say that XRP Ledger is a blockchain built for business. The XRP Ledger is a decentralized public blockchain led by a global community of businesses and developers looking to solve problems and create value, just like any other cryptocurrency out there. But they say that they have a lot of partners like banks and institutions and stuff like that that use their network. But these companies, they will use an XRP Ledger software, or like a kind of like a software that they are using, but they're not going to buy like 1 million XRP and then start implementing to send like XRP from each other when they want to track the transactions. So they're not going to buy the tokens itself, because XRP and the Ripple company, like, and the software behind it, it's good. And this company can offer solutions to businesses which will be low cost and stuff like that, and streamlined and high performance and proven reliability. So they will have all these benefits, but they will not use the public XRP's network that we are seeing. And this is why cross-currency payments is not being sent in XRP tokens. Like it would, like for example, if a bank or a banking network from Europe and America, if they join XRP, and if they want to send $1,000 to 1,000 euros in Germany, they will not send it via XRP. They will not buy 1,000 worth of US dollars XRPs and then send the XRPs and then convert it back to euro. So they will not do that. So that's why all the big partnerships from XRP and from Ledger and stuff like that, they're not relevant, because they will not increase the price of XRP. So this is like, you have the blockchain and the coin or XRP, but it's not relevant with the software behind it. So that's why the question is also like, is it scalable? Is it competition? Is it built to last? So that's like, yeah, a weak point. And then also we have the market speculation, the price roller coaster. XRP's price thrives on hype and headlines, not on real world adoption. Big surges, often tied to news cycles, not fundamentals. Legal setbacks could send the price tumbling. And that's what I just said. Because even when a new project adopts XRP or like Ripple software, they will not buy the tokens and they will not increase the price. So they can have 1,000 partnerships. They can have 5,000 partnerships with banks and institutions. It will not increase the price, not a single dollar. It's just the news they sell. And that's why I think with the centralization aspect, with the SEC like lawsuit, with all this stuff like that's not a real world adoption, we can think of that it might be not so safe to invest in XRP other than for the chat analysis. So then they have also transparency issues, what's really going on, because the question is who controls Ripples with the supply, who makes all the decisions, like is it really that transparent as they want it to be? I don't think so. So that's like a question as well. So while XRP offers potential, the risks are loom large. the legal battles, the centralization concerns, fierce competition, and volatility traps. So yeah, always do your own research. And if we go back to the price, I mean, some people, they analyze charts and they have seen it coming and stuff like that, and they see these movements here and there. And I'm not a chart analyst, but yeah, you can make some money with Ripple, but just be careful in the long term, because this is a cryptocurrency that's kind of not a cryptocurrency, but wants to be a cryptocurrency. So yeah, just be careful with it in the long term and keep your profits and make your profits. But yeah, don't think of it as the holy grail of cryptocurrencies, even when they want to sell it to you like this. And if you have any questions about Ripple, write them down below in the comments. And if not, see you in the next video. Bye bye.